They did it! We're still here!
Players are leaving Fortnite quicker than ever, but there was once a time when Fortnite wasn't just a game, it was a cultural event from season to season. It burst onto the scene in 2017, flipping the entire Battle Royale genre on its head and launching Fortnite into stardom. And Fortnite wasn't merely successful, it dominated pop culture with in-game concerts and massive collaborations that appealed to many, many people. But even the brightest stars fade. And now we're witnessing the unraveling of Fortnite in real time. Epic Games was once a company that understood live service better than any studio, with frequent updates and consistent experimentation and a kind of two-way connection with the player base, making sure that the game kind of had this sense of energy and relevance. But now, innovation is gone. Updates at this point feel rather lackluster and more like obligations rather than events. And what was once a electrifying community experience has just kind of dissolved, shattered, fragmented, and the numbers are really starting to back up this claim. The May 2025 Star Wars crossover event should have been absolutely huge, but instead it kind of flopped and fell on its face. The average daily player count across all of the Battle Royale playlists fell below 1 million. And that is a dramatic drop from the tens of millions that Fortnite used to attract. Back in May of 2023, the number was nearly 2.5 million. And this is all down to Epic's decision to push multiple different pieces of content for niche modes and effectively sidelining the Battle Royale genre. I'm seeing more bots than players these days, and lobbies are really starting to feel dead. Even streamers and YouTubers are feeling this and have pulled back, focusing instead on either other titles or different Fortnite modes. And Fortnite isn't just losing its momentum, it's slowly bleeding out.
Oh no, Brendan, I have no faith for some reason.
I don't know, I really have faith in myself.
Oh my god, whatever two of us just fell and died.
You guys are bots!
At this point, Fortnite is such a fragmented experience. Fortnite players used to just hop on for Battle Royale or Save the World and that was it. But nowadays, there are so many different game modes to choose from. You've got Fortnite OG, Fortnite OG Build, Zero Build, Normal Battle Royale, Ranked Battle Royale, Creative, Lego Fortnite, Fortnite Festival, and Rocket Racing. This overabundance of modes has split the community so thin. Matchmaking is longer, games are just filled with AI bots. The focus on the Battle Royale experience has been diluted to irrelevance, essentially. Epic Games has toyed around with different modes to make sure that others are more populated. For example, with Fortnite OG, the majority of the players that you're against are bots. And I understand that Epic Games is trying to ensure that everyone can get full lobbies, but at this point it kind of makes the experience rather redundant if everyone that you're shooting at is just running into trees and not acting like a normal player would. And so it essentially makes that experience kind of null and void.
Alright, let's run in. I'll take the damage, boys. I'll distract him invis. Let's go.
Fortnite once felt like this magical experience where who knows what would happen during a season. We'd have massive events, or we'd have concerts, or we'd have new chapter launches. These were all unforgettable moments, and you can still see them spread around social media. Nowadays, it's just feeling kind of mechanical. There's like constant crossovers or corporate partnerships, and they've really overwhelmed not only the ecosystem, but also the shops as well. And I understand that it's good to have these collaborations in regards to crossovers for battle passes, because it's incentives for people to pay for them, and then they can get their favourite skins and play as their favourite characters. I understand the business model. The game is free after all. But nowadays I feel like they've reached a point where they're not really surprising anyone. I remember when Thanos showed up in Fortnite and that was a surprise, but now it's like Tuesday we've got Godzilla, Wednesday we've got Star Wars, Thursday we've got Marvel, Friday we've got Nike, and Saturday we've got anime characters, and Sunday we've got new rappers. Fortnite is really feeling like a constant commercial. The surprise has gone. There's no oomph to it. It's just branding essentially being put on autopilot. And a lot of the time, it feels like I'm playing inside of an ad campaign. And with this commercial exposure with different events being correlated to a different brand essentially, players are starting to feel the fatigue. Without that genuine excitement or innovation, even massive events are barely causing ripples. In Fortnite's earlier days, the Battle Pass was a reason to grind out the game. You know, you got unique cosmetics and there was a satisfying progression loop with each level, and an exciting mid-season event always kept players coming back. Today's Battle Passes, however, are starting to feel a little bit hollow. Crossovers are dominating rewards, skins are rarely original, and I understand, you know, you need to have an incentive to get to that tier 100, but it is starting to get a little bit exhausting. Even the daily challenges and weekly challenges are starting to feel repetitive. Most people are deciding on what battle passes to buy, not dependent on the season because it's fun, but because they want to play as their favourite character. And as I said previously, I understand that Fortnite is solely being monetized on skins and cosmetics because the game is free, but people are grinding out seasons that they don't even like just so they can have that skin in the future. And this is the key to monetization for Epic Games. The Battle Pass used to feel like an achievement, but now it's just starting to feel a bit like filler, and this has now become an industry standard. You see it across Call of Duty, and you see it across the finals, and you see it across Fall Guys, and you see it across many other games. But the Battle Pass is now a symptom of a larger identity crisis.
Pop, 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 Fortnite Battle Royale.
When Epic Games listened to their fanbase, they released Fortnite OG back in 2024, and it exploded overnight. Over 50 million players jumped in during that first month. Classic locations returned, weapon loadouts were brought back, and it was plastered all over social media that Fortnite was back. But this version of classic Fortnite isn't exactly what it used to be. It isn't the original version of Fortnite. It's just an old map plastered into the newer engine, essentially. And I understand it will be a lot of work to roll back everything that they've done in the past couple of years to make it authentically just the way it is, but I'm not even particularly bothered about movement changes or anything like that. It's just the fact that most of the games that you're playing with, 90% of those players are bots. And this makes the experience so easy for 90% of the game until you get to the last couple of real players. So essentially you're just playing Fortnite on easy mode for the majority of the game. Now I will give Epic Games a bit of credit. I do really appreciate that they're reintroducing all of the old seasons with every new season that the base game gets. And so essentially the gameplay does feel fresh and it is getting content updates in that regard. But most of the time it is generally kind of feeling a bit like a gimmick.
Marcus says there's something legendary here and I won't die anymore. He was wrong! Marcus, why would you do that? You said they fixed the bug.
Despite the massive changes that Fortnite has seen in regards to its graphics and its physics, Fortnite Battle Royale is still feeling a little bit outdated. Yes, they introduced new weapons with new seasons, but a lot of the time it just feels like gimmicks, like grind rails or kinetic weapons. They feel more like distractions than meaningful additions. One of Fortnite's greatest strengths used to be its evolving map, but lately these changes are feeling more like cosmetics rather than functionality for its player base. All new locations will either lack personality or older locations have been around for the past 6 months. And it's just such a shame that we don't see such a radical change to map design as we used to. It feels like the Fortnite map used to change a lot more rapidly than it has been in the last couple of seasons. I used to consistently explore the map after every new update, but nowadays locations have stayed the same for the past 3 seasons, and so essentially I just don't care. Epic Games has made their intentions clear. Fortnite is no longer just a battle royale, it's a platform, an ecosystem, a digital sandbox for brands and user-generated content. That is great for investors, but the core audience is kind of being left behind because Battle Royale is no longer the centerpiece, it's just another option on a playlist. And as a result of this, players are just being left behind. Fortnite has its hand in way too many things, way too many different modes, and it fails at being that one thing that it used to dominate. Battle Royale. And the Fortnite Battle Royale community has been vocal about this. They want a focus on Battle Royale, better updates, improved loot balances, real map changes for goodness sake, and skill-based matchmaking fixes. But Epic simply isn't listening. Instead, we're getting LEGO Fortnite updates and Fortnite Festival updates, but it's really making everyone feel like they're a bit ignored, and it really reflects that. It's getting to a point where I don't even know what Fortnite is anymore. You can't even describe it as a battle royale.
What's up, man?
You're not real.
I am real. What's up, dude?
Stop! I got into a game with scissors!
Even when Fortnite Battle Royale took over the survival mode, it was clear that it knew what it wanted to do, be the pinnacle of Battle Royale, and to some degree, yes, it still is, but it's kind of losing its grip on the game mode because it's trying to grasp at so many different straws, and unfortunately you just can't grab them all. And that's apart from one straw, which is Epic Games' monetization strategy, which has really become quite aggressive recently because bundles are becoming way too overpriced, battle passes are filled with filler, limited time skins are pushed constantly, and it's really clear that the priority isn't player satisfaction anymore, it's just profit. So, is there hope for Fortnite? Yes, there is. Fortnite Battle Royale can still recover, but it's going to require some really difficult choices. They need to prioritize Battle Royale once again. It's the core experience, and they need to start treating it that way. They need to engage with the community more, reinvent the map with purpose, and just fix the Battle Pass. Make it fun again, make it not feel like a chore to complete. With the Fortnite season, I purely did not care about the event. I really didn't. All I wanted was the skins, and that was the only reason I played Battle Royale. As soon as I'd finished doing that Battle Pass and getting that final tier skin, I was done. I tapped out for a while. I just couldn't bear playing more of it. And if I'm feeling like that, then I'm sure that a lot of other players are starting to feel like that too. So essentially, we're not alone. It is undeniable that Fortnite has changed gaming forever in multiple different ways. It's proof that live service could be joyful, engaging, and have a real sense of community. But now it stands as a little bit of a warning. Now the question isn't whether Fortnite can bounce back. The question is whether Epic Games will let it. Will they listen to the community and how they're feeling? Because until they start listening to how the community is feeling, and even look at the data to see how much the game has fallen off in regards to its player count, if that doesn't happen and they continue to drop, the community will just grow quieter. And who knows? What was once the biggest game in the world may soon just become another name in a long list of what could have been. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, then subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.